Papa Angelo here. This is a resonator guitar. It's a fairly inexpensive one, which I did some work to. I built the head up, changed the tuners, dropped some different bone here, took out the cones and rebuilt the inside a little bit. And I put a passive pickup here so I can plug it in anytime. This one here is a Regal. I've got two of these. And it's not a Dobro. A Dobro is a name of a guitar, a brand. And resonator guitars that are Dobros are most often metal. That's what people mean when they say a Dobro. Loosely, they refer these to also being a Dobro. It's really a resonator guitar because of the cone. I'm really going to talk about guitars in general a little bit, and it's because there's so much love and passion that goes into guitars. And personally, I feel like the guitar that's best for people are the number one, they can afford, and number two, the one that feels the best when they play it. If they can afford anything at all, that's a different discussion. You go in and you try out a Taylor and a Gibson and a Martin and so forth and so on, and you see which one you really like. But if it's a matter of saying what guitar is the best guitar, I've never had the answer to that question, and I don't go along with people who automatically salute one type of motorcycle, one camera, and one type of guitar. I love going into a used dealership of some kind, like a pawn shop, and find a used guitar for very low money and put a little bit of love into it and make it play really good for cheap money. I like that. I find that exciting. And I also don't mind spending a little serious money on guitars. Not too much, but I've had some nice guitars. I own quite a few guitars. And most of the people I know can say that. And they mix and match, they trade up. But there's several things about guitars that you should know. And of course, I'm speaking mostly about acoustic guitars, because really acoustics and electrics are very different animals. Even if you electrify an acoustic, there's still things about acoustics that are particular to the acoustic. This is an inexpensive guitar. This is made by Recording King. And I perked this one up a little bit. I put a rest here, again a passive pickup here for sound. And I improved some of the things about the guitar, the action. And of course, that's one of the main considerations about a guitar when you buy it. How does it feel when you play it? And of course, how does it sound? Acoustic guitars traditionally have had their own voices. Each guitar had its own voice. It had its own makeup. I mean, a guitar resembles a human. It has a head, a neck, shoulders, hips, a top and a back, sides, tune machine, so forth and so on. And a lot of those things can be changed or augmented. Some people get pretty clever about working on guitars themselves. Some people don't venture into that. They might pay someone to do it, or they'll just keep the guitar exactly where they bought it, and that's fine. A guitar is a very personal item. I think all musical instruments are personal items in that respect. They should match the person who's playing them. They should be set up and match the type of music that you want to play or that you do play. And it should be an expression or an extension of you in that respect. It's not like, oh, you're going to buy this very expensive guitar and suddenly your guitar playing is going to incredibly improve. In fact, it may be the exact opposite. If you have a junky little good playing guitar that you keep around all the time, it may encourage you to just pick it up and play and try this and learn that, so forth and so on. Where if the guitar is very expensive, you may feel prompted to keep it, in its hard case, protected and hidden in the closet or under the bed or whatever, and only take it out to oogle it, like it's a prom night. That's also one of the syndromes that happen. People that play, where they play out or they do open mics or they play with friends, they don't have any of those inhibitions. They play like putting on shoes. They pick up a guitar and they play. They don't have anything that gets in the way of their performance. But people who are a little bit more on the borderline of being a hobbyist or a wannabe or a newcomer, they're usually a little reluctant to take it out. And the most important thing about guitar is that you learn to self-discipline, and I don't mean torture yourself with regimented, moronic, structured, repeating lessons until you lose your mind. I mean the idea of practicing and doodling. You take out the guitar and, you play with it. You get personal with it. The guitar doesn't have a voice unless you give it a voice. The guitar doesn't have anything to say unless you pick it up and you play it. There can be reasons why you don't play a guitar. I've had the occasion where I've spent good money for an instrument and then found myself reluctant to use it at all, or that I can't get next to it. I don't feel prompted to play it or become involved with the instrument, that other guitars take the lead. If I really want to play, I'll pick up something else and play. That'll often tell me something about the instrument and whether or not that instrument fits into me, my lifestyle, my playing. Because the guitar itself might be perfectly fine, but not for the individual. So you want to make sure, it's just like buying a pair of shoes, no matter how great they might look or what they cost, if you put them on and you walk a little while and they don't feel right, they're not going to get any better. A guitar doesn't get broken in that way. It gets broken in over a long period of time. If it's made of good materials, it will change its voice. It'll develop a little bit according to your playing. And of course, everything wears in a little bit, and that guitar becomes easier to play. It shouldn't feel stiff and too weird and too exotic. You should keep the guitar clean. You should protect it from extreme heat and extreme humidity. I'm not a nut about those things, but I make sure that my areas of guitars have a dehumidifier running nearby, or an air conditioner on, or the heat's not right near it, or whatever. And I protect it from obvious conditions like rain or direct heat or putting a guitar in a trunk. Even having the guitar in an open car with the windows a little open and whatnot, if it sits there and it gets warm, it's going to take you longer to tune it. You're going to go to play it and it's going to be out of tune. So if you have to be performing, and when I say performing, whatever that means to you, in my world, there's not like high art and low art. There's art, there's music. And some people play with each other. Some people play alone at home. Some people play out at open mics or gatherings or festivals, or they get commercial gigs. Those are all valid undertakings. And you shouldn't feel like a lesser player because there's somebody else who puts it down your throat that they are professionals, professional schmessional. If you take making music seriously, to you, for you, if music is important to you, that makes it real. And I hope this little chat's been useful. Remember, the best guitar is the one you can afford and that it feels really good and it sounds the way you really want it to sound. Thank you very much. Papa Angelo here. Rock and roll, hoochie coo.